Alrighty, folks, as promised, one of the things I wanted to do as we dig into the end of the year is figure out what is happening in the housing market post-election. Again, we've had an election. The results are known. And I am hearing, again, from multiple sources across the country that it appears buyers are coming back. I've actually had landlords who had vacancies that were having a horrible time filling vacancies, and those are filling up. So clearly, a lot of folks were holding back on demand now that the election is known. Behavior has changed. I do not know if this is a trend. I do not know if this is just a short bump that will disappear, but it does appear that there are more activity. Open houses are having more visitors, which is interesting because I do not see more supply. I have not heard about people selling going, hey, I'm going to sell now. They seem to be holding for the spring selling season. But you know what? Let's talk to a top 1% agent, not in a city, not in a state, in a country, and figure out what Beth Traverso has to say. Beth, what's going on post-election?
Hi, Michael. Yeah, so it's been really, really interesting to see because the 2 to 3 weeks leading up to the election, it really was like a ghost town out there. I mean, even the weather in our area, I'm in the greater Seattle area, and we're known for gray, gray, rainy weather, but it felt like the weather was bleak and quiet and nobody was out, and showings on listings slowed down to almost nothing. Open houses would have maybe one person, two people come through, just dead out there.
Yeah.
And
No, and to your point, that was not only real estate. Again, I had landlords tell me they had multiple vacancies, no applications, no showings. It was just crickets for 3 or 4 weeks.
Complete silence. And a lot of what we spent our time doing was just working on people that are gearing up for what happens next. Post holidays, we're working on a lot of that right now. But as far as what was happening right at that time, it really was almost like tumbleweeds blowing through town. Nobody coming around. When buyers feel, or anyone really feels uncertain, they don't want to make big decisions.
Yep.
Regardless of the turnout of the election, I'm in an area where it's like some people, I'm just like everywhere. Some people are really happy about what happened. Some people are really upset about it. Regardless, it's been decided. There's no rioting in the streets, which I think is reassuring to a lot of people. So, and the stock market surged, which people always like that when they're feeling more flush. Mm-hmm. And in my area where people have a lot of money invested in the stock market, and then they see that go up significantly, it helps them feel more secure about making a big purchase, like buying a home, or in some cases, maybe renting a home or whatever, just making any kind of large decision.
I think your insights are just exactly right. What we had in this election was certainty. Whether you liked it or not, the outcome is now certain. And that does bring a sense of clarity. And again, I've heard from multiple folks, real estate agents, wholesalers, right? I talked to 2 big players, Jason Pritchard, Omar, Adrian 3, whose business is more active today than it was all year, which is wild to think about.
And I'm seeing that too. So now all of a sudden, boom, right after that, we saw showing activity pick up where we hadn't been getting showings for a while. All of a sudden, lots of showings, calls coming in from agents, people asking offer type questions, offers coming in. And open house activity has increased significantly. And we've been seeing for a while, well over a year now, where we're seeing more buyers coming through open houses than coming through private showings. So for me, I watch that even more than I watch the private showings.
And that's probably something to do with the NAR settlement, right? You do not have to sign a buyer's agreement to go to an open house. You do for a private showing. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. And some states I've heard might have some variance on that, but by and large, that's how it works, where people can, that's one of the only ways people can just pop in and see a house without having to sign a legally binding agreement or make a big commitment. So people are coming to open houses. Our open houses last week were probably up about 5x in attendance from pre-election. So it's very
500%.
Yeah. Now that's going from maybe like 1 to 2 to 10 to 12, but still that's a 5x increase or thereabouts. And that's significant.
Yeah. Again, I think again, clarity brings certainty. Obviously, you do live in a part of the world where it's very stock market-esque, right? You have Microsoft, Amazon, and other big players. So there's some reality in that. The people have the RSUs, the stocks. They're feeling flush, I think was the word you used earlier. But let's go one level deeper. So I'll call it top of funnel activity is higher, right? More people are showing up. Okay, great.
Yeah.
But are people writing offers?
Yes, they are. So, however, it's not super competitive. I've had some be pretty competitive and sell over list price, but not like we see in the springtime. And it's a bit of a interim time right now between, because normally this is we're winding down now for the holidays.
Oh,
inventory, if you look at all the charts, this is always when the inventory goes all the way down to the lowest point of the year in December. I'm looking right now. I looked at the different 3 price tiers in my zone, my buy box, if you will. And there's, very, very little in the entry level tier. We're talking single digits.
Right.
And same for the middle tier, and then like twice that in the high tier. So we are still seeing, in my area, I'd say like the 2 million plus, you got a lot of options. You still do.
Yeah. And again, that's something that I keep telling people. I mean, gosh, wish people would listen. If you're lucky enough to be shopping for a luxury property, which in my opinion is 2x or more the median price.
Yeah.
You don't pay list price, folks. You got a lot of options.
You have a lot of options out there in our area. And I would say this is a good time right now because the people that are on the market now are going to be a little more motivated. A lot of people at this time of year, they want to close before December 31st for whatever
that tax advantage.
There's it out. Yeah. So I do believe though that we're setting up for, things can happen that could change it, but if things continue on the current trajectory, I believe we're setting up for a really busy first quarter, which is always in the sale area our busiest quarter.
And again, you're in a part of the world where your spring selling season really does start in January.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we're seeing that line up already. A lot of sellers we're talking to right now the majority of them are waiting till mid-January to list to hit that time. I don't know that you necessarily need to, because I think the buyers, depending on what you have to sell, the buyers are out there right now, as we were just talking about. It depends on your own personal plans, but I think that we are setting up for that bump that happens post holidays. Buyers are always ready to buy before the sellers prepare their house for sale post holidays. There's that tension in the supply demand is what makes things pop. Right. So it is lining up for that. I am getting more buyers reaching out to me now than I've had in a while as well, that are getting ready to get geared up to purchase a home. And they are usually a little bit vague in their timeline. Anytime between now and 6 months from now, they want to buy a house. And I've been telling them if they want to try to stay ahead of what I see taking shape in January, that December could be a great time for that. And a lot of them just automatically assume there's going to be nothing to buy in December. Like, well, you might be surprised what's out there. So this might be a good opportunity to get ahead of the pack a bit.
I'm curious, what in your, again, your circle of influence, what percent of buyers are all cash? Are we talking low? Are we talking sub 20%?
Yeah, sub 20. Yeah.
Okay. So 1 in 5 ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people, even at the higher price points, are still financing.
Okay. All right.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
The people that are paying cash tend to be the downsizers more than anything. Which aren't that many people downsizing, but the people that are selling a home that has a significant amount of equity.
Got it.
Rolling that into a cash purchase of their next home. That's most of what we're seeing for the cash purchase.
So for you, that's a seller, right? Because a lot of people in your world are selling their expensive home, going to a different part of the country to be with near family or whatever. And then that house is cash.
Correct. Or sometimes if they're downsizing within the same area, say selling a large home, buying a small home, condo.
Yeah.
In the second home market, which is kind of a peripheral market for me, there is still a significant amount of cash purchases in the second home market. Still, I would say easily over half is cash, are cash for those types of purchases.
Interesting. So if we were to talk kind of just post-election, again, 2 weeks, the housing market is completely flipped, right? It went from crickets and tumbleweeds, to use your words, to more interest at top of funnel, open houses,
Mhm.
more offers. Not crazy. We're not talking 20 offers. We're
No,
not talking,
no.
10% over list, but we are seeing offers.
Yeah.
But again, the supply's not coming, right? Why would you list now?
Yeah.
Right? It's the winter, it's the holidays. You don't want to kind of celebrate holidays and keep your house clean, right? For that noise. It's
Mhm.
tough, right? So you think there's a lot of supply? I don't know. It's hard to say a lot. What's a lot? Do you think there's a bunch of pent up supply coming?
I do. Yeah. I'm not talking an avalanche, but I'm talking going from almost nothing to, a decent selection is coming up in January. And I'm hearing a lot of that from a lot of folks.
I don't know how many transactions, you did or the King County did, but I'll ask it generically. Do you think 2025, when we look back, will be more transactions or less transactions than 24?
It feels like it's going to be about the same.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It would be hard for it to be lower because it's been so low around here. But, I mean, could it be? Yes. I'm bracing myself for whatever comes along. But, I do expect that it's going to be another low. I don't think rates are going to come down as much as I include myself included. I was hoping for rates coming down into the high to mid fives, and how nice that would have been. It would have brought so many people off the sidelines. Not seeing it.
No,
yeah. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. But what I've learned, we all have probably observed this, that it's unpredictable. Things happen, and the rates don't necessarily follow the trends that we think they will. But unless the rates do come down into that probably mid to high fives, I'm not seeing any significant bump in inventory at all.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if you probably heard because you watch my daily financial news. I'm on record now thinking that, again, nationally, every city can be different, but nationally speaking, I don't know, dude, this hurts to say because you're obviously a friend of mine, family at this point. I think 2025 is going to be the last hard year. I do think 2025 nationally will be worse than 2024. King County may be the exception, but I like the fact that you're not planning for it because that will keep you laser focused on running a good business. It'll keep you laser focused on surviving to 26. And then the good news, Beth, 2026 will be a pop of 20 or 30%.
Yeah.
27 will be better than 26. We will just go on these probably for 5 or 6 years. Every year will be better than the year before, but we got to get through 20.
We have to have something to look forward to, right? As people
survive to 26.
I thought survive to 25 had a real nice rhyming ring to it, but now we got to change that maybe, but that's all right. I took
one more year.
Scalpel to my budget and everything a couple of years ago, and still I've been just leaning up, and so it will, for me and other real estate business owners that are working in this environment, once we see if we do have an inventory pop and that starts coming back again, those that did the right things during the lean times will do that much better and capture market share. Yeah. And the profitability, if you think about it, if you're able to maintain profitability now in a down market and keep your market share. I've been increasing market share because I have not stopped my marketing. I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make in a downtime, but you have to have the budget to do it. But I've just gotten very selective about looking at my business to see what's providing the return on investment and what is not. And the things that position me as the market expert in this market, that I can make it happen in this market. If people are able to show that, those are the ones that will capture more market share now. And it'll just explode that much more once the market does finally come out of this. So, but we can't be operating now expecting that you're going to have a surge in income in 3 to 6 months. Like, we just don't know. I'm just figuring it's going to be the same challenging market for the next year. And if it does change, and hooray, won't that be great? But
let's be pleasantly surprised.
I know, but we can't operate as business owners. We can't operate as if that gravy train is just going to keep on coming ever, in real estate. Anyone who's been in real estate any period of time knows it's cyclical. It goes up and down. You got to save your money and be a smart business person, or it will swallow you up.
There you go.
So, yeah.
There you go. Again, I really do think there was a lot of pent up demand. Again, it was very quiet for 3 or 4 weeks. We are seeing some of that come back with the certainty of the election. I don't think it's a long-term trend. I just think there's a little bump, right?
Yeah.
There were people that would have been shopping that just didn't. Now they are. So it's kind of a double dip or a double count.
Yeah.
But
Just
the
push
spring
it
selling
forward a
season
little
will be
bit.
interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, January is going to be fun. And like you, I just don't know where the inventory comes from.
I'm not seeing it. You know, I'm still seeing the same people that have circumstances in their lives that makes it so they need to sell. But that move up buyer seller has been gone for years, and I'm not seeing that coming back in any significant kind of way.
The move up buyer will not come back with 7% mortgage rates.
Mm-mm.
It was starting to get interesting at 6. And then of course we went the other way.
We got a little taste, and then it moved. Then it kept on going. So
bye.
Yeah.
It can be fun. Well, one of the things that I love that you do as a top 1% agent is you help other folks find top 1% agents. Do we just send them to BethTraversogroup.com? Is that the right place to go?
People can reach out to me there. If you happen to be a school member for the One Rental at a Time school, you can message me on there. I have fun chatting with folks in that group. It's a really great way to interact with other people in there. So feel free to find me there. I'm also on social media. You can message me on the Instagram, Facebook, wherever you like to.
And if they are coming to Vegas, you're going to be there, right?
I will be there. That's going to be fun. Last year was great. Can't wait to do it again.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.